Alright, guys. Yes, I'm playing Arc Raiders. I mean, before you say anything, no, I'm not going to apologize for anything I said because I still feel that way. I mean, I'm worried that this game sadly is going to take a dunk. Mainly because they won't let go of the PvP fantasy that they have going on. Otherwise, the game is one of the best games I've ever played. I mean, the PvP part kills it for me. Alright, what's up, guys? I feel justified in what I said before about PvP not fitting in this game. I still feel firmly justified. I mean, I think it's an 80-20 kind of thing. 80% of people work together in here. That's a majority of majority of experiences I've had has been really fun. I mean, most of the time you run into a good group of people. I mean, we've had shootouts and firefights that were truly epic, like where there'll be six of us out there, um, all fighting these arc enemies that are overpowered, and I like that they're overpowered. Don't make that easy. And by the way, that flies in the whole face of get good and oh, you don't want to challenge. No, it has nothing to do with that. I just don't want to deal with people that are using trickery and deceit and low honor people. I guess they only get their rocks off from PvP. I don't want to deal with that in a game where I'm fighting the enemy that's got us trapped underneath the planet, that's taken over the Earth. I mean, that seems counterintuitive to the entire reason, to everything in the game. You know, that, oh, there's this arc enemy, we're trying to keep our raiders alive and all that. Well, why should I want to keep them alive if we're all killing each other? Right? I mean, and this is gonna get worse. I mean, it's gonna get far worse. Imagine when these people get bored. I mean, then you're gonna have other people that usually don't do it. They're gonna be doing it. Or the other case is that somebody's gonna get killed, and they're gonna go on a killing spree and kill everybody and feel justified in doing it, even though normally they would not have done it because they're trying to get back at somebody who's not even in the game anymore. How does that foster any kind of great, lasting, fun gameplay? And the game's not designed for it. I mean, it has no aim down sights, and I don't care. The only people saying that that makes it a good PvP game, straight up, are people that suck at PvP games. I mean, that third person crew that wants to do it that way, they want to do it that way because they want an unfair advantage over everybody else. They call it, I had somebody in my comment section one time call it, it gives it a tactical side of it, an unrealistic one. I mean, I guess you could say that. The fact that your eyes can apparently float outside far to the left and look around corners without exposing yourself, that's nonsense. What that does is it eliminates the tactics in the game. Like, so in other words, you go up to a corner, you peek around, you're having to look around and stuff, not go up and tilt your camera over to it. That's a game mechanic thing. You're not skilled doing that. I mean, that doesn't mean that you'd win in an actual firefight, or in real life that you'd be anything, because you wouldn't be. Because I can tell you right now, you can't just wall peek corners in real life. I think that I'm justified that this game is meant for PvE. It was always meant for PvE. They did a very low bar in adding PvP to it, and I think the reason that they added PvP to it was to extend the game. They wanted to make a game that kept going and going and going. And Nexon, again, Nexon is known for this. I mean, all you have to do is type in $9 million Nexon, $9 million lawsuit, and you'll learn about Nexon real quick. I mean, they're a very shady, underhanded company. But I still got the game, you know, because I like the atmosphere of it. I like what they were creating in the beginning before they added the PvP to it, you know. Like, I really think they're onto something unique. Humanity against the AI, kind of like Terminator, right? Except with these flying arc bots, and they are hard. You know, they're not easy. And that's the first thing I heard PvP players wanting Embark to do, was to make the arc enemies easier. Why would they want that? Because they wanted to turn this game into another COD. You know, like actually Sissy's COD. Because they got to use wall hacks. I mean, yeah, the mechanics of the game to cheat. They don't expose themselves. Somehow they got eyes that float out to the left and right of their head so they can peek around walls and all that. I mean, look, it's nonsense, okay? And I think that most people, like I said, this is an 80-20 issue. I ran into a lot of people. I've been playing this game. I've been playing it for the last 2 days, and almost every single one of them said the same thing. PvP ruins the game. We were in a firefight, which is going to be shown here in my next deployment. Because I told him as soon as I started recording, because we had been in some brutal, fun firefights against the Ark enemy, okay? It was so awesome. That's when the game was shining, right? And then the next match, I go in to help a group of people, me and Slag King do. And what happens? Some idiot is out there sniping people. He's solo, by the way, because these people, they have no lives. They have no friends. You know what I mean? So they're angry at the world. They don't want you to have fun. That's what Embark has empowered. That's who Embark has empowered. Is like the societal outcasts, the people who would rather see the world burn. You know what I mean? And I get enough of that in other games. I don't want to deal with it in this one. And I said that before. The loop is fun. You go and loot what you need and then bring it out. But there's a lot of artificial limiters that are put in there to make it to where you cannot progress very fast. Like the stash container being so small that you can't carry enough loot to actually craft the upper end stuff. You know, you start building up the resources you need to craft the next level weapons or to craft your bench up, and you're already 75% through your loot. The space that you can carry stuff, and you're in a whole room. You mean to tell me that that's the only shit you can store in an entire room? The gunplay, in my opinion, is only meant for arcadey PvE combat. It doesn't have ADS. It doesn't lock it to where you can't use in-game mechanics to get an advantage over people. You know, you're really not even taking a risk, because most of these people, they don't have a flat out shootout. Okay, that happened one time, and I think it was a misunderstanding more than anything else. Instead, what they have is people that pretend to be on your team. They'll wait until you get into a fight with Ark, and then they'll shoot you in the back. I mean, they're literally letting people who should be shunned from society, in my opinion, and the way that they feel and the way that they act, they're giving them a spotlight in this game. I don't understand that one. I mean, is it meant to divide us, to make us want to off each other while we're out there? Because the enemy is Ark, right? That's the enemy. That's why we're underground. And, you know, just to address all the people that are going to say the same crap that they always say to justify their PvP nonsense. I played PvP games for probably longer than you have. Okay, I played DayZ. I didn't just play it. I mean, you can look us up. I got plenty of clips of it. We're going on official servers and hunting Greefers down. That had more of a fun aspect to it because we could play on PvP servers. That means that it was locked to first person view. And these players, they don't want that. They do not want you to be locked to first person, because that would mean that they'd actually have to work for it. You know what I mean? I mean, sure that they could say that, oh, hey guys, they could do the same underhanded shit, which in my opinion, again, that should be shown that, guys, honor does matter, and I believe that the majority of players would agree with me on that. You know what I mean? In this kind of situation, that wouldn't happen. And to reward that kind of play is just rewarding it in real life. And look, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm just saying, you know what those people remind me of? They remind me of Hamas. They remind me of other groups like that. That's what they remind me of. Because they don't want a fair fight. They just want to shoot you. They don't want your kit. They just want to cause chaos. Why would they shine a light on people like that? I mean, they're not just a detriment to the game. They're a detriment to society. I mean, if their lives are so empty that they feel like they can do what this guy did to me. And so me and Slag were in a fight. We had originally, when we got out there, we ran into a group that outnumbered us, and they didn't open up fire on us or nothing, okay? We all decided to join together and go to this to a building. And by the way, there was a lot of good interactions. This is only like 2 interactions that happened this way, and that's what I'm saying. This is an 80-20 issue. Most people that are in there that I've seen are all working together. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if they added a bounty system to these people to where they pinged up and showed up on the map, or it said like, oh, there's 2 people on the map that had bounties as being traitors, as being scum of the earth, then that might be a little bit better. Because don't you think that Speranza would want to keep their warriors alive? That feud that go up to top side, don't you think that would be an abject, how do you say, that would be very important to them, you know? Because we're underground for a reason. If we were doing all that great underground, then we'd have rose up and taken out the machines. But that isn't what's happened. Instead, we're still stuck underground. Not only that, the quests make no sense for a PvP side of it, right? That you're going out and repairing raider hatches, that you're, um, going to raider bases and fixing gear there, and you're doing this and you're doing that. That lends me to think that you're supposed to be working for the betterment of humanity to fight against these indomitable odds, against these insane AI. Well, in this case, it'd be these insane robots, right? That drove us underground. But instead, no, of course, we have to cater to these freaking psychopaths who only get fun by fighting other players. I mean, and I've heard that there's people out there making videos telling people that the way that you want to play this game is that you want to wait until they're extracting and shoot them and take their stuff. Yeah, that's great, guys. That's great. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. You actually go out, you have a good time with all the guys. You take out some arc enemies that were very hard to take out, and then on your way back, some little look, I'm gonna be honest with you, some little bitch who is scared to fight the arc enemy shoots you and takes you out because you ain't got the kit to repair yourself because you've been fighting for humanity, right? And then they get to go down and trade all your stolen stuff. Well, actually, I can't even say that because every time I've been killed in a combat situation like that, it's always backbiters for one. They always pretend to be your friend and then they shoot you in the back. They never take your shit. They're only doing it to try to razz you, to try to piss you off, and they're doing a good job of it with me. Because otherwise, this has been a great experience. This game has been an awesome, fun thing to do. And then, of course, we got to deal with the PvP players, and it's not even a choice that we can make. Like, hey, we're gonna avoid this area because all these griefing clowns are out there, right? No, they and Bark don't want to give us a PvE experience separate that we can be, because they know what would happen. The majority of the player, 80%, I would say even higher than that, of the player base would go to the PvE side and say screw these mentally deranged few that only seem to have fun when they're ruining humanity or ruining somebody else's day or ruining somebody else's experience. Those kind of people, in my opinion, should be shunned from society. I mean, game or not, look, this reflects on how you think. Like, if you think in your head that it's okay to kill your fellow man, to get ahead, you're not a person I want to know. You're not a person I want to interact with. I don't want you in my life. I don't want you in my games, because honestly, you're probably going to go off the rocker one day and take that mentality out on, I don't know, some very real innocent people in very real life. I mean, you can get mad at me if you want to, but that's what I see when I see the PvP players in here. It's not like there's two sides of players having this engaging long-term shootout or anything. No, it's always the campers, at the extraction. It's always the the losers that are saying don't shoot, and then they shoot you in the face or they shoot you in the back, after you spared their life or you've helped them out. I mean, like I said, in my first experience, I got somebody up using a defibrillator, which are harder to come by in lower levels, and that dude got up and shot me in the face. I had another guy that said don't shoot over and over again, so I didn't, and I went up the steps and he shot me. Are those the PvP interactions that y'all want? I mean, this is more of a debate than anything else, so I'll put this to the PvP players, okay? And then I'm going to ask the same thing to the PvE players. Justify what you bring to the game. Tell me why the experience wouldn't be just as fun without you in it. Without your form of masochist, weird, disgusting, low honor, low bar fighting. And I'm not... Trust me, you're not better than me at PvP. Not unless you do some underhanded bullshit tactics. You're not better than me at PvP. I can promise you that. I've been doing this shit for a long time. On DayZ, where it's designed for PvP, I own in that game all the time. I mean, I dare you to come and fight me in that game. But in this game, where we're supposed to be fighting against Ark itself, it diminishes the want to actually fight Ark. I mean, you go out there, you don't... For one, you're not bringing in your best gear because you're fact is you're liable to get sniped or shot or fucking tricked. by some rogue retard who only feels good and knows. And it's not. Look, I heard this justification. It adds tactics, a different type of tactic. What tactic? What tactic does it add? What? Saying that you're not, that you're a friendly player and then shooting them in the face? Is that the tactics we want to heighten? That we want to show humanity? Anybody that's playing this game that you can get ahead doing that? Because you can't. In real life, that person would be probably set up on a fire and just go out and shot. I mean, but in a video game, why would we endorse that? Do you understand? And I know I'm taking it to real life a bit here, but I don't care. It does matter. I mean, these games do affect people's mental, the way they think. I mean, I really do believe that some of these games can go too far. They add the worst elements of society, and then they lift them up. They let them participate, and instead of punishing them for the horrible views and the horrible ways that they do things, they encourage them to do it. And where do you think that that ultimately leads when it's no longer fun to ruin people's days in video games? You know what I mean? Where do you think that that thought process leads? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you know. Leave it in the comments. I mean, I'd like to get a good debate going about this. Like, why won't Embark make just a PvE only map? They could just make one map. PvE only, no PvP, and then see what the numbers are like. Because I am almost 100% convinced that this is. I would go as far as saying it's a 90-10 issue. Okay. Like 90% of the player base enjoys the PvE aspect of it. They enjoy fighting Ark. They enjoy the overwhelming. And I'm not saying that those people are like wusses or anything. If anything, they're the brave ones because they're fighting the actual enemy who can put up a fight, the Ark enemies. See, that's the real reason they won't fight Ark. Instead, they wait for you to get back to Extraction because they suck so bad at combat. They suck so bad at fighting that they won't take on the actual enemy. The real hard challenges. They leave that to us, and then what? They trick us into helping them on the way back, and then they shoot us, and then they feel good? Feel good for what? Because you waited for somebody to go out and do the job that you should be doing? I'm sorry, guys. I can't get with the program on that. And I'm sure there's going to be people in here, I know, because in my other videos that I've addressed this, like, the sweats just go insane. And then I get really intelligent comments where they're like, hey, the PvP aspect, it does kind of add to it a bit, but the PvE is what I'm there for. And I still think that justifies what I'm saying. You don't want to run into some fool playing like don't shoot and then, or you defib him to get him up and then he shoots you in the face. I mean, when you leave matches like that, how do you feel? And that does matter. That matters a lot. Okay, it matters a lot. But I'd like to hear this. I would like to get this debate going about this because it isn't just Ark, okay? Ark Raiders. It isn't. It's a lot of games out here that focus on pitting us against each other all the time. We cannot just have a humanity versus, aliens or whatever kind of game. We can't have that. Instead, they want to put hate. They want to get hate players. And most of them, by the way, most of the people, the 90% of people that play that, once they get sick of being shot by other people, griefing them, because that's what it is, it's griefing. When you're fighting the Ark enemy and somebody comes back and comes behind you and shoots you in the back of your head, that is griefing. Okay? They didn't even take anything. And I told that dude, I was like, you're a bitch, man. You're a backbiting bitch. We're fighting the actual enemy and you came up and shot us in the back. I mean, if that doesn't show what kind of person you are, in real life too, because all this relates to real life. It does. I mean, these people exist in real life, even if they play a video game. Is this how they think in real life all day? Oh, I can't wait to get home and ruin somebody else's experience by shooting them in the back, by doing something that, a mass murderer would do. I'm only going to have fun if I'm out there, like, doing stuff that Hamas would do, hiding in behind people. Doing dirty tactics like that. I'm sorry, man. The last few years has just been a testament to how bad humans have gotten, how bad people have gotten. And I think games have a role to play in that. We can be superheroes trying to do the right thing, fighting the bad guy, or we can be the evil people that these games, I feel, are trying to make us out to be and follow our baser instincts. Oh, I feel better because I shot a dude and then I didn't take anything off him. But I feel good now. I feel strong. Or maybe somebody killed him before, so he came in to get revenge on everybody who didn't kill him. who had nothing to do with it, who probably would have picked him up and went after that guy. So this is what I encourage. Okay, for one, keep voting down the PvP content side of it, because I just think it ruins the game. It doesn't add. It's adding longevity to the game, but it's adding at the expense of the entire feeling and the vibe you get in the game. You know what I mean? That you're supposed to be fighting these overwhelming enemies. These arc enemies are already very strong. I don't want them to nerf them enemies. I like that fight. So that flies in the face of anybody saying get good or any of that. No, the arc enemies are powerful enough on their own. We don't need a fight with another player. Especially an underhanded, two-faced freaking lion player. That's not tactics. It's not tactics, guys. Come on. They don't want to engage in a real fight with somebody. They'd rather hit you when you're weakest. That's pathetic. That's what that is. I mean, most people I know would laugh at people like that. That's why they only get that satisfaction in a game. Because in real life, you know what would happen to them? They would be punished severely. Probably tied up to a stake and shot. I mean, that would be saying that playing as tossing a grenade into a tent of soldiers, that's a tactical maneuver. They were doing that in Ukraine, by the way. The sergeants were the people that were all mauled up from fighting before. So you're telling me that that's okay, that they were tossing grenades into those people that wouldn't fight. They were tossing the grenades into those tents and blowing them up. And I think it's a very, very good metaphor for it. It is. It's a very good analogy, you know what I mean, like a comparison to that, because we're all humans and it's very clear we're against robots, right? But on our side, since the robot side don't have this, on our side, on the humanity side, we have mass murderers and worse, degenerates out there that are going to kill us when we're trying to free society and humanity. I thought at first it was just like a dichotomy, like an experiment showing people, hey, in real life, this is what's going to happen. This is good versus evil. But no, I don't think it is. I think Embark and Nexon are doing what Nexon does all the time, which is playing to the haters, because they're the ones who spend the money. They're the ones who will get enjoyment out of this game long after you're going out of it. Like, once you're gone, because you've gotten so sick and tired of trying to actually play the game the way it's supposed to be played, fighting the arch enemies. Once you've gotten tired of that and left, they will still be in there hoping to get that one kill that justifies them, that gets them views on their stupid stream where they're just backbiting people. And if you're out there watching that and supporting that content, I feel bad for you. I mean, you're making it happen in a game too. You're giving them a reason. You're justifying what they're doing. Maybe I'm wrong, and I would love to hear if I'm wrong, then tell me. Do the majority of you think that PvP serves an element in this game besides just to grief people? Because there's a big difference. Engaging firefights, I'm all for, against units that are tactically out there on the field. But in order for me to do that, I'd have to set my mindset that everybody I ran up against was my enemy. Okay? Is that what Embark wants here? They want us to be out there shooting each other instead of the enemy. And then who's the enemy of humanity? Is it the robot, or is it other people? I mean, you can't have it both ways. I don't know. This is what I would like. I would like to see, for once, a gaming company that puts out a game think about the message they're sending, and the fun that they're ripping out of the game by taking that out, by taking out this. I mean, imagine an MMO type game where you go to these maps and the enemies arc and they're already powerful enough. We all know that. And like this firefight that I was in, me and Slag King there were guys on the other side that we had joined, and it was beautiful, man. We were fighting this leper. I mean, because it just kept ramping up, man. It just kept getting harder. First, we took out a snitch who brought in some hornets and some wasps, or I believe that's what they're called. And then rockets started landing from space or something. And then all of a sudden, a leper shows up. And now it's jumping all over the place. All of us are firing from different windows, trying to draw the enemy, to keep it running between sides. And it was working really well. This thing was on fire, man. Everybody's cheering, having a good time. And then we leave. Everybody's like leaving in a good mood. This has been really fun. And then we get in the next batch. And then we go to help the next group of people. And a no-count loser comes up in behind us while we're engaging our enemy to help this other squad, and they shoot me and him in the back. Was that fun and engaging? I did not feel it was at all. I mean, I think what people are seeing and they're misunderstanding is you don't have to have PvP to have those elements. Do you understand? Like, let's just say that you're running across the map and you're doing missions, which are important solo, okay? You don't have to respond to help other squads. You could just leave them to deal with that on their own, right? Or you can engage and help them. I mean, the shooting them in the back and killing the people is just a stupid way to extend the game. It takes away the idea that the enemy is the robots. And I don't know if that's on purpose. I'm starting to think it is. They just want to keep us all divided. You know what I mean? All at each other's throat and hating each other. Because what happens is an otherwise good person, otherwise good player, an honorable, skilled player that really helped us, maybe, or helped whoever in dire times, now is going to get mad because somebody underhandedly with no honor killed them, okay, using underhanded methods, because they always do. Like, there's videos out there saying the best way to gain up in level and all that is wait until to sit outside of an extract point and just kill everybody as they're leaving. That's fucked up. And they're making videos about it. I mean, that this is a valid tactic. That is not a valid tactic. I mean, not unless you're on the enemy team. Are you an implant? Are you like a robot fucking implant? I'm sure that they would play that off in their mind, because in their mind, they're the good guys. They're just surviving guys. Well, then why is it that 90% of the people that you kill, you can't even take their loot? You're wrong. That isn't what's happening. Anyway, look, it is what it is. I don't know how long I'll be playing this game. We'll see. I ended up getting it because I really do. I like everything right up until the PvP. Everything else is beautiful. It's like unique. It's a unique way to play. The idea that everybody on a server could be doing their own missions, but then come together to really take on a hard enemy. You know, making that decision. Like, do I go and repair, the antenna so that other raiders can stay up, or do I not do that? I mean, because most people are going to not do that after they figure out that most of those players are going to shoot them in the face. Why would we even be out there repairing anything? Why would we be working for the betterment of humanity when humanity's murking us? Do you understand what I mean? It just doesn't fit the narrative of the game. We're fighting robots. That's the narrative. They are way more powerful than us. But that at the end of the day, the real enemy is the person has no honor that'll trick you into helping them until they get an opportunity, and then they'll shoot you in the back of the head. I've seen it happen in DayZ. It got so bad in DayZ. These griefers that were pretending to be your buddies and shooting, and nobody had an engaging time. Nobody had fun. The game dropped in numbers so fast and so hard because of it until well, I mean, you see where DayZ is now. Really, it's not. And most people play on modded or private servers because they just don't want to deal with it. And that's what I challenge Embark to do that. Make a PvE side. Make a PvE side and leave the PvP for the sweats and their own servers. Make a PvE map, okay? And then let's compare numbers. Let's see how many people in here just want to go in, fight Ark, collect loot to fight Ark, do that whole cycle. And I'm happy with that cycle, by the way. They don't need to have players offing each other left and right. But eventually what it's going to do is it's going to do the same thing it does in every other game that does it. It's going to chase people out of it. Just like in the finals where they got 12,000 people. They're not very good at making PvP games. Now, the people that play that game, of course, are going to get on here and be like, it's so good and you're an idiot. You just don't like PvP stuff. Well, then explain to me all the other PvP games I play. Right? And I'm pretty damn good at them. Good enough to where I'm always asked to be on teams. I'm always on the same team, which is the 75th. No, dude, you can say that all you want to, but it's not gonna have any purchase on me. I'm not gonna care. The insults to try to motivate me to go and play the game, to fight players, it's not gonna work. Because I have honor, I have morals. I understand that humanity has to work together to take out these machines, and that's what they would be thinking. I don't wake up every day thinking of how I can ruin somebody else's day. You do, apparently. So I'm glad you're having fun ruining everybody else's day and not fighting for the betterment of humanity. You're a real hero, bro. A real hero. You know? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Anyway, I'm not gonna take up the whole time. I mean, we had fun last night. Like I said, it was only like really. I've had a total of maybe 3 encounters where I've been into a fight, and even the fighting was pretty bad, to be honest with you, against other players because they smurf the system. You know, they'll butt side here. They'll, all this other crap. It's I'm just not for it. The peek around the corner thing and without exposing yourself, that doesn't happen in real life unless they have a drone. Is there a drone floating over their head? That shows around the corners to show if enemies are there. The first fight we got into with another group that opened fire on us, there was a player that was in behind a wall, and the only reason he knew where we were is because guess what? He was wall peeking. He was tilting the camera to the right, even though we couldn't see his character, to see us. That's dirty. Does that mean you have skill? And trying to make it a skill thing is just pathetic. Saying that, oh well, it's just another avenue of the tactics of, it makes you think tactically. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? If that was the case and they wanted to be about tactics and they make a first person game, right? And then you wouldn't have that advantage. You would only be able to see the locker in front of you. That's it. And you'd have to peek out, and then you'd be seen, and then you'd be dropped. That's the truth of it. You know that you're not good at PvP. You're only good because they have shitty mechanics in here for PvP. So, that being said, my main thing about making this video, and the reason I'm saying any of this right now is because I want everybody to really think about it and maybe go through their ideas of what PvP adds to this game. I mean, does it add a sense of thrill that the arch enemies don't themselves? I mean, what does it add? And I gotta be honest with you, shame on Embark for catering to the 10 to 20% of people that are just so miserable in their lives that they want to spread that misery to other people. And people are going to get tired of it and they're not going to play the game. So it's doing the exact opposite that Embark wants it to. I mean, Escape from Tarkov was fun until it wasn't. Right, but at least in that game it was fun for a long time because you could, depending on how you were clearing corners, you have first person, you didn't have an advantage over somebody else. Once it came out that the place that they was filled with cheaters, which I had already known that, but once it came out that it was filled with cheaters, everybody left, and the game practically died. I think it's still practically dead because people don't want to play against other people that are using shitty advantages like that to get a drop on them. And here's another thought. If our idea is to go out and take out these machines and arcs, how are we going to do that if we're fighting our own kind? You understand? I mean, because it kind of felt like an army thing there for a while. It was really good that we were all fighting in that map and, trying to do our own missions and our own stuff that we had to do while still, deciding to work together, maybe to divert and help this squad that was pinned down because they're trying to do a mission too. I loved that. I loved it. And usually the arc enemy is really strong anyway, so it's not like, I mean, to sit there and say, oh, well, you're just scared to fight a player, or you're just not good, bro. The AI is far better than you are. I mean, the only way that you can get an advantage on anybody or kill anybody is by lying and deceiving them. And like I said, the direction it's going to head is that this is going to cause people not to work together. It's going to separate the community. And then all those awesome experiences I was just talking about where the groups, 2 squads merge, maybe 3 to take down a really big Mother Queen, they're just not going to happen. People aren't going to waste their best guns to come in there and, supply these shills. They're out there making videos saying, oh, well, it's a good tactic to attack people under extract. It's like, man, I cannot believe this game is catering to those types. And I got some more hardcore thoughts on those types of people. I think that those types of people eventually become people who do awful things in life. I mean, if they entertain it in a game, that's only one step removed from life. It's like just a thought, guys. That's all it is. If they're justifying it in a game, if they're not trying to be the good guy, they want to be the evil guy, killing everybody for no reason at all. I mean, think about that for a second. Is that the kind of person you want running around in real life? Because that's what's going through the back of their head in real life, and I promise you it is. I mean, there used to be a type in Vietnam my dad used to talk about, and you could always tell what type they were. It was the type that would pop a pin on a grenade and throw it into a tent with GIs in it, you know. Um, and they acted just like these people act. I mean, I'm only saying exactly as I see it, and I've been told about it. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just too stuck in my ways. An old vet, used to seeing actual conflict and how people act when there's actual risk to your life. But I'm not impressed with the PvP. I think that they added it in here to extend the content, and that's it. No other reason for it. But I mean, otherwise it's a great game. Like I said, it had unique experiences, and none of them were PvP oriented. None of them were. They were all PvE oriented. Like running into players who I got downed one time. We were trying to take out a leopard. That was so awesome, by the way. And players started coming out the windows, man. They were coming up the windows, setting up and firing at this fucking leopard from the windows. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. It's like Rebels, right? And you're fighting an overwhelming enemy that has overwhelming power. But still, guys are stopping what they're doing to come and save each other, to fight for each other. You know what I mean? To stop this enemy. That has a good ring to it. That feels good to me. And it's still hard. It's still very challenging. So it's not like taken away from the challenge of it. And I just, no. I mean, to say that you're doing it because, you only have fun when you're playing, when you're killing other players, then you need a psychiatrist, brother. You do. I mean, if you can't have any fun unless you're ruining other people's experience, you need a psychiatrist. Because you're kind of scaring me, man. Like, there might be something scary about you. And I don't mean like, you could kill someone or anything. Most likely you're 500 pounds and never get off the couch. What I'm saying is, the way that you think is flawed. The people that are on your side, or you've made your enemy. You want to kill the people, you want to kill the weak. You want to kill them and take their stuff after they've fought for you. I just cannot, in my mind, get it in a correct position to where it's okay. To where in any way as a society we should be for that kind of activity, right? About shooting your fellow man for no reason, especially when they're out there fighting the enemy that's oppressing you, that's killing your family. Imagine if you're one of these arc raiders, okay, that had to be motivated to go out there and, get all this to loot to keep the city alive, and everybody that was there probably lived through being driven underground, right? Do you really think the top thing on their head is to go out there and murk players left and right? Or do you think the top thing on their head is to get revenge on Ark? And now it's just been turned into a shoot 'em out between players because last match this guy got killed by another player. You know what I mean? And now he's out there killing everybody just to get revenge on the guy that he's probably not even in the server. And the guy that did it is loving every second of it. He's loving the chaos he's caused. He's loving the division he's caused. He's feeling powerful because, his fat ass that never gets off a couch did something that he feels, I don't know, would make him popular. And the people that are putting out content, promoting this and telling them to do it, you guys are just as pathetic. I mean, I don't believe that you're good at that kind at PvP. I don't believe that you would be good in an actual real life situation where we had to fight an enemy like that. I think that you'd be that guy that would sell your fellows out for your own profit. That's what I think. And I think that in Speranza, in the world that they're trying to build, that those people should face consequences. Okay, I mean, shootouts happen, friendly firefights happen. That I could accept, but that's not what I'm seeing here, guys. I'm not seeing firefights like that. What I'm seeing are people like, don't shoot me, and then you go up after you've done 5 matches where people are working together and fighting the enemy, and you're having this great time. You're bringing your kit so you can help them even more. And then some clown comes up and shoots you in the back of the head. Doesn't take any of your gear, any of your kit. He just does it because he's sick in the head. But I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but justify it to me then. Tell me in the comment section. Why do you think... Tell me what PvP brings to this game. Besides pissing people off, making them go out and murder other people for no reason, stopping the actual focus of the game, which should be fighting Ark, right? Stopping the enemy that defeated humanity. Um, I'd love to have a discussion about it, a civil one. But this, if you're gonna say get good or anything, I'm gonna laugh at you. Because you have no idea how I play an actual PvP situation. This 5-year-old's version of a PvP fight, I don't think anybody would agree that this means that you got skill. I mean, seriously, you can corner look, you can bend the camera around. There's so many advantages that you get in this game that shouldn't be there. If they were going to do that, they should have made it first person with ADS and all that. And the reason that they do that is because it's fair. And I know there's a lot of people who hate fairness, but guess what? That's part of life. And we should be promoting fairness and good play and good action, not the worst of it. It only happened twice, by the way, just to be clear. And both times it was underhanded tactics. But something one of my friends was telling me is he was watching a video on the how-to, and this video is telling him to camp extract points and to shoot people that are fighting arc. They go out, they loot up, they fight arc drones until they ain't got no healing supplies or shield regenerators. And then as they're going in, well, that's a good way to get loot. Dude, in like 10 levels, you're going to be crafting that fucking loot for practically nothing anyway. Most of what they have, you're going to have. That is silly. The idea behind that is silly. I mean, really, you're not losing anything. You're not gaining anything. The only thing we're doing is entertaining these sick people. And yes, I'm not calling them sick. You might think I'm being harsh. I'm not being harsh enough, actually. Because anybody that would come up in behind two people that are fighting the actual enemy that probably killed their sister, their brother, their families, wiped out the entire world, anybody who would come up in behind them and shoot them to death. I'm sorry, guys, but that is not somebody I would want anywhere around me. I would not. That's the kind of person that should be on the enemy team with the AI, with the ARC. Instead, guess what? After a match, you're down there cavorting with them in Speranza. While they get benefits, supposedly, for offing you that way. I don't know what Embark's doing here, but they had a good formula in the beginning. I think they got scared that people went like the loop of going out looting and coming back. Man, they are not paying attention to what people like and don't like. I mean, just a looting cycle, going out there, grabbing stuff, building guns, and fighting the enemy. And most of the time, when you feel good, even if you die to the arch enemy, you know what you don't feel good to? Dying to some camping ass loser who pretends to be on your side, who shoots you in the back of the head. And then they've just set you back a few hours to go out and recraft this stuff. Why? Because I've watched, go down for a while and then it shows the person who's done it. And here's an idea so that you might be able to stop this, by the way. To push these people out of our community. Community as far as the player base for this game. Block them. Like at the end, it always shows a portrait to kind of like, hey, this is the person who did it. Okay. Go to their profile thing and block them, because then they can't join your multiplayer games. I know, it is what it is, but they're willing to wall peek, pretend that they're your friends. I mean, and again, tell me what they're adding to the game that the machines don't already do. Because I kind of agree with the other people. If you're going to have the PvP aspect in here, and the raiders are just as big of a threat as the machines are, then you should lower the difficulty of the machines. Because then the fight isn't just about the machines. It's about these crappy players. I don't know. I think many ways, but one thing I've not done in this game yet, I've not found one reason to kill a player. Unless they shot at me first. Not one time. Not one reason. Even though I was overpowered and I was running with people that are clearly less powerful than me. Probably had stuff that I wanted. I still found no reason to kill them. Instead, every time I helped them get out. And again, this is just very divisive, of all of us and the gaming experience. And it's normal for Nexon, because if you look at their how they roll their games out, they're so popular. All of them only last a year, and then they collapse. And Nexon closes them out and takes as much money as they can. They're like that Reaper of game development studios, or backers. I'm sorry. They push games to die in a year so that they can get the payout. They can buy the rest of it. Nexon, I think, owns like 67 or 72% of Embark. And if you look, all you gotta do is look up Nexon. It's a dirty, bad company. I mean, we're talking about a company that was fined millions and millions of dollars for defrauding their player base. I mean, that you can look it up. Just to look up Nexon America sued. That's all you have to do is type that in the comment in your search bar, and it's going to show you. It's going to bring up all kinds of articles about Nexon. And then Barks only had one other gaming experience, and that would be the finals. And there's 12,000 people playing the finals. From a 298,000 concurrent player start, there's only 12,000 people playing the finals. Does that sound like a success to you? It's not. And I really don't want to see this game go down because it has potential. I've been waiting for a game like this forever. But, I mean, they showed us how good a game could be by playing against PvE enemies, okay? They showed us how nice it'd be to have people leaning out of windows or doing their own thing, helping in the fight against the arc enemy. But then they're going to take it away from us for making us have to deal with these low-life people who have no place in society. I'm telling you, probably like a 500-pound pig who never gets off the couch. You know, their lives are miserable, so they got to make everybody else's life miserable around them. I mean, sure, they might exist on the battlefield in the very beginning of the war, but most of them would be shot by this point where we're driven underground. They wouldn't even exist at all because everybody would be trying to keep each other alive because guess what? They depend on the supplies coming in and everything else. But I don't know. I'm just thinking about it from a sane side of things, right? Because no fiction works well outside of reality. There has to be some reality to it. Like every game has to have gravity, right? Otherwise, we can't understand it. I mean, even in a space game, you get on your spaceship, what? You got gravity, right? You get on certain planets, it's got gravity. You know, matter exists in those games, spaceship games and all that. What they don't need, in my opinion, like I said, is players playing out their sick, demented, delusional fantasies and then getting rewarded for it. And then, I don't know, maybe, very likely, maybe, not very likely, but maybe going out and, like, I don't know, doing it in real life because they found out they really enjoy the feeling. So now why not do it in real life? And yeah, I'm saying that because how is that different here? How is it different? We're rewarding people for horrible actions. What do you think they're going to do in real life if they get a taste for it in this game? But I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. You know, am I off the ball on this? I mean, I don't think I am. I mean, I could be. And if it's a legit argument, you know, points, I will give you. I'm open to it. I want to hear you guys' opinion. Is it an 80-20 issue? I think it is. Tell me why you don't think it is. You know, I think people are willing to put up with the PvP aspect of it to have those like 2 to 3 games that are normal before you get off by some loser, right? That one time, I think that people are willing to put up with it. But is it an engaging part of the game? When you go out into the game, are you looking to kill other players for no reason and to do it? And for what purpose? What does it serve the story of the game? Because Arc Raiders are supposed to be far and few between, right? There ain't very many of them. Why wouldn't they be protecting them from each other? Like, in other words, you know, they go out and they murk somebody. People have radios. I mean, that's shown because they radio us to tell us updates on where we can find stuff at. Why wouldn't they call in, hey, we got somebody, you know, that's a murderer? Because that's what they would be in that time. We got a murderer out here. And then they show the picture, you identify him, and then they, like, that's what I'm saying. They should be losing, or there's ways that they can even find out themselves by the loot that they gathered or the area that they're at. I mean, this is like supposed to be a high-tech version of an oppressed society that's underground, and they're making out some crazy weapons. So, I don't know. It was just a very loose idea, but like I said, it could be like more of a unifying game. Instead, they always. Why can't they just make a good game? A good unifying game? You know what I mean? Why do they always have to divide everybody and make people hate each other? Rip away those great tactical experience. You think that people aren't still going to be going out and joining up as bigger teams? You think that people aren't still going to be focusing on their own missions and having to decide, hey, do I finish this solo mission that needs to be done to get communication open for the humans of Speranza? Or do I go over and help this guy that's clearly outnumbered, that the AI, that these robots are going to destroy? That's the dilemma. Every time you hear a firefighter, you go buy one, right? Should I join it? That's how it should be. But instead, you're like, no, I'm not going to get involved in it. Nobody wants to help each other because they're probably going to get shot in the back of the head because these people have no honor, especially in a video game where they're not held to account for their actions or their beliefs. And I think those kind of beliefs are just sick. I mean, that you're just going to kill somebody. The guy, like I said, I played on a video earlier, a guy that I fought, well, I wouldn't say it wasn't a fight. We were fighting Ark. We were trying to help another squad. And then he comes up in behind us and shoots me. And then after he's loading for an hour, and sadly, my buddy was new at the game. He didn't know he had a melee weapon he could have taken out and bashed that dude's face in with. But, instead, like I said, this guy comes up and shoots us, kills us, doesn't take anything off our bodies at all. You know, like, what? So the only enjoyment he's getting out of the game is the anger and the aggravation he's causing to the other person. He's getting no benefit from it besides that. Man, we could do better than that. I mean, really. And I gotta say, yeah, I enjoy the game. I like the fact that there's more of the good engagements. Like I said, it's only been 2 or 3. But once it starts ramping up, and it's going to chase me out. And I guarantee it's going to chase most people out because they're going to get tired of going out to fight for humanity when humanity's killing them. I mean, who's your enemy here? Is it raiders? Are raiders your enemy, or is the computer your enemy? Or not computer, but the the robots and stuff. I mean, they have to make their mind up though, and I think that sadly this argument is going to kill this game. I mean, because like I said, eventually people are going to get tired of it and they're going to walk away. Mark my words. We'll see what happens, though. Give me your opinions and all that down below. And SPonte and Deus Vult. But these fucking sweats, man. That's how they feel like they matter in life for some stupid ass reason. They have to go out and kill players because it makes them feel good. It doesn't matter if we got a better enemy. It's the ultimate hunt, according to them. Even though the guy had literally come up in behind us and claimed that he was on our team, or if he was sniping from the window, even still, we were fighting Ark enemies. That's supposed to be the ultimate enemy we're supposed to be focusing. And he fucking focused us. He was like, screw y'all.
Are you using the shotgun?
No. I'm thinking about it. But every time I bring it in, dude, some peckerwood sees it and then tries to kill me for it. And they never do it to my face, you know what I mean? They always do it to my fucking back, so... And that's just gonna make me maybe a little too protective if I bring it in. I got a decent weapon in here anyway. I've been using a little Stitcher. And, that's why I lost that gun a little bit ago.